Yo, America! Remember the trade war? That intense economic showdown that had everyone talking? Yeah, that clash of the titans between the US and China. It was like watching two giants wrestle for dominance on the global stage. It's still a thing, simmering in the background, even if it's not making the headlines every day. Former President Trump slapped tariffs on Chinese goods, trying to protect American jobs and businesses. China retaliated with their own tariffs, and the cycle began. It's been a back and forth ever since, with each side trying to outmaneuver the other. The stakes are high, and the impacts are felt worldwide. Think of it like a heavyweight boxing match, but with cargo ships instead of jabs. Each tariff is a punch, each negotiation a round in the ring. Both sides are throwing punches, trying to protect their economies and gain the upper hand. It's a battle of economic strategies and national pride. But there's a new twist: Mexico. This isn't just a two-player game anymore. Turns out, China's been getting creative to dodge those US tariffs. They're not just sitting back and taking the hits. They found a loophole, a way to sneak their products into the US without paying the full price. It's a clever move, but it complicates things. And guess who's helping them? Our neighbors down south. Mexico's playing a key role in this new chapter of the trade war. It's like finding out your buddy's been sneaking in through your back door to avoid paying cover at the club. It's sneaky, and it changes the game. Not cool, China. Not cool. But it shows just how complex and interconnected global trade really is. Every move has a ripple effect, and the players are always looking for an edge. So, what's next in this ongoing saga? Will the US find a way to close the loophole? Will China come up with another strategy? And how will Mexico's role evolve? One thing's for sure, the trade war is far from over. It's a dynamic, ever-changing conflict that will continue to shape the global economy. Stay tuned, because this story is still unfolding. In the end, it's not just about tariffs and trade deals. It's about power, influence, and the future of international relations. And that's something we all need to pay attention to. So, how's China pulling this off? They're using Mexico as a middleman. It's like a game of economic three-card Monte. Here's the play. Chinese companies ship their goods to Mexico, slap a Made in Mexico label on them, and then send them across the US border. Boom! Just like that, they bypass those pesky US tariffs. Sneaky, right? This tactic is called transshipment, and it's not exactly illegal, but it's definitely bending the rules. It's like copying your friend's homework, but changing a few words so the teacher doesn't notice. This isn't just about a few cheap t-shirts or plastic toys. We're talking about big-ticket items, electronics, steel, even medical supplies, and it's happening on a massive scale. The US government has been trying to crack down on this, but it's like playing whack-a-mole. As soon as they shut down one operation, another one pops up. This trade war is getting trickier by the day, and it's hurting American businesses and workers. Now, let's talk about the main contenders in this economic showdown: the US and China. The US has long been the world's economic heavyweight champion, with a massive GDP and a reputation for innovation. China, on the other hand, is the scrappy newcomer, rapidly gaining ground with its massive manufacturing capacity and growing technological prowess. Think of it like this. The US is like the seasoned veteran, experienced and battle-tested. China is the hungry up-and-comer, eager to prove itself on the world stage. They're both economic powerhouses, but they play by different rules. Section 5. China's economic wobble. Is it a blip or a crash? Here's the thing though, China's economy isn't looking so invincible these days, is it? Remember that whole China's going to overtake the US narrative? Yeah, that's looking less likely now, isn't it? They're facing some serious challenges: a slowing economy, a mountain of debt, and a shrinking workforce. It's like they're a high-wire act that's starting to wobble precariously. Section 6. Real estate crisis. China's ticking time bomb. One of the biggest threats to China's economy is its real estate bubble. This bubble has been inflating for years, driven by rapid urbanization and speculative investments. Developers have been building at an unprecedented pace, creating a vast number of residential and commercial properties. For years, China's been on a building spree, constructing apartment buildings, shopping malls, and office towers at a breakneck speed. The skyline of many Chinese cities has transformed dramatically, with cranes dotting the horizon and new skyscrapers rising every month. However, many of these new developments remain unoccupied. Entire cities, known as ghost cities, have been built but are practically empty. These areas are filled with vacant apartments, deserted shopping malls, and streets that see little to no traffic. It's like they're playing a real-life game of SimCity, meticulously planning and constructing urban landscapes, but they forgot to add the Sims. These empty buildings and streets paint a stark picture of overambitious development. This overbuilding has created a massive debt problem. Developers and local governments have borrowed heavily to finance these projects, leading to a significant increase in debt levels. The financial strain is evident, with many fearing the repercussions of this unsustainable growth. With many fearing a potential collapse of the real estate market, the situation is precarious. If the bubble bursts, it could lead to a severe economic downturn, affecting not just the real estate sector, but the entire economy. It's like a house of cards, delicately balanced and vulnerable to the slightest disturbance. One wrong move, such as a significant drop in property prices or a wave of defaults, could bring the whole thing crashing down, triggering a domino effect that could have far-reaching consequences for China's economy and beyond. Section 7. The Debt Dragon. Can China slay its own monster? Speaking of debt, China's got a lot of it. Like a lot. We're talking trillions of dollars here. They've been borrowing money like it's going out of style to fuel their economic growth. Massive infrastructure projects, new cities, and technological advancements have all been funded by this borrowed money. But now, that debt is starting to look like a dragon they can't control. The more they borrow, the harder it becomes to manage. It's one thing to borrow money when your economy is booming. When everything is going well, it seems like there's no limit to what you can achieve. But when growth slows down, that debt becomes a heavy burden. The economic slowdown means less revenue to pay off those massive loans. It's like taking out a huge loan to buy a fancy car, then losing your job. Suddenly, you're stuck with payments you can't afford. Suddenly, those monthly payments don't seem so manageable. The pressure mounts, and the risk of default looms large. This is the situation China finds itself in now. The Chinese government is aware of this looming crisis. They're trying to implement policies to manage the debt and stimulate growth, but it's a delicate balancing act. The impact of this debt crisis isn't just felt at the top. It trickles down to everyday citizens, affecting small businesses and rural communities. The question remains, can China slay its own debt dragon? Only time will tell if they can navigate this financial labyrinth and emerge stronger on the other side. Section 8. Demographic Doom. Fewer babies, more problems for China. To make matters worse, China's facing a demographic time bomb. Thanks to their now defunct one-child policy, China's population is aging rapidly, and there aren't enough young people to support the growing elderly population. It's like having a party where everyone's retired and there's no one to pour the drinks or clean up the mess. This shrinking workforce means slower economic growth and a strain on social services. It's a problem that's only going to get worse in the coming years. Section 9. Can China's economy really collapse? So, is China's economy about to go belly up? It's definitely facing some serious challenges, but it's still a major player on the world stage. They've got a lot of tools at their disposal to try to right the ship. But one thing's for sure. The outcome of China's economic woes will have ripple effects around the globe. We're all interconnected in this globalized economy, and what happens in China doesn't stay in China. Section 10. The future of US-China trade. Collaboration or conflict. So, what does this all mean for the US? The US-China economic relationship is complex and constantly evolving. There's no easy answer. The two countries are both rivals and partners, locked in a delicate dance of cooperation and competition. The US needs to find a way to protect its interests while also navigating this complex relationship. One thing's for sure, the future of the global economy depends on it. Though here,